Senator Patrick, for what purpose do you rise, sir?
Question to the author.
Will Senator Ogden yield?
Yes. Thank you, Senator. I know we're going to hold any questions about the specific articles until after the rule to suspend, but I do want to get clarification on a general principle, and that is my concern to vote to suspend and to vote for the budget is concerning the business tax, Senate Bill 19. And I understand why, and I have great respect for your leadership on finance and the members of how they work towards this budget. But obviously, that $315 million that would save 350,000 businesses in taxes is not part of this process. Small businesses in Texas, I think by comments that Senator Ellis has made and Senator Vandepute, that if our revenue estimates are down, it's because our economy is down, and that means small businesses taking a hit. And I just want to know in general, what is your approach to that? Because if I thought there was no hope for that tax cut, I would not be in a position to support this. I'm going to vote for suspension and vote for this budget because I trust that we will get there. If we don't, then I'll be a no vote when it comes back. But as you look at this budget, that's another $300 million. How do you see that process moving forward?
Well, as we've discussed, I think the process cannot be tied, but certainly your bill is in committee, and I intend to hear it, and we'll see if we can fashion a way to not only balance our budget, but to provide a much-needed tax cut for people of the state of Texas. Yours is not the only tax cut bill that's in committee.
I understand.
There are several bills that have been introduced, Senator Ellis and Senator Zaffarini and others, that cut sales taxes on various things here in the state of Texas. They're also worthy of consideration, but because they all have a fiscal note, it's been basically the policy here to hold all bills with a fiscal note until we get the budget sent to the House. And so we'll give it a hearing, and everybody wants to be able to provide a much-needed tax cut if that's possible. But at the end of the day, my first responsibility is to make sure that this budget will balance.
And I understand that and respect that, and I just wanted to be sure before I voted to suspend and voted for this budget that I was clear on what your thinking was, and I believed I was, and I know that it's a hesitation to tap into the rainy day fund for what you said to Senator Ellis, which I totally concur with. We have to be prepared for the future, and it may get worse before it gets better. But I would, with 24 sponsors on the bill and small business hurting, I would just like to suggest respectfully and to the members to consider, if this is the direction we go to support it, that a rainy day fund is used for emergencies. And I would suggest it's a rainy day in Texas for our economy, and it's a very rainy day for business. And if that's one way to do it, it may have to be the option. And I can't help but acknowledge the reason this is so important is because every small business in Texas is going to have to write a check May 15th before we leave. So any relief we give them is not going to take effect until May 2010. So that's why I'm very concerned about that. And again, I appreciate your work on this, and members of finance. I think you've worked hard to craft a good budget, and I hope that I'll be able to vote for the final passage when it comes back and we've helped small business. So thank you, Senator.